Okay, so what I'm going to be doing in this recording is I'm going to be just showing how to build FFmpeg in Windows 10. And so what you can do to get the link, I'll put the link in the description, but you can actually go to my site as well and just go to media. And if you go down, you can it'll be a sort of item which is building FFmpeg. And so if you choose that, and the advantage with this is just that there is an extra option where I actually include the code which I'm going to be using later. So what you do is, in order to be able to do this, you just download this zip file from GitHub. So you can just open a new tab and it will just download the file. So if you just save that, and then basically once it's downloaded, you just open it. And you open it with File Explorer. And then what you can do is, easiest way is just drag this to the desktop. And so that'll be uncompressed. So if you go to the desktop, then you'll see there'll be a file which has a script in it. And so what you basically just have to do is to run this script, and I think I can't remember if you have to run it in. Well, let me just check something. Yes, you have to make sure to use WordPad to open it. Because of the way they do the line feeds in it, it doesn't show up properly in Notepad. And so this just has some basic instructions in it. So it tells you what's included in it, and then sort of it should eventually tell you how to. Yeah, so all you basically do is just double click the batch file. And what it is, this batch file does everything for you. So you should if you just double click it, once you choose, and so you want to just make sure to run it anyway, because of course Microsoft only wants you to run things which they say and nothing free. Right, so what it's essentially saying to me is that the path is too long. And so the best place to put it, I think, alright, so two things to do is we change the name and move it somewhere else. So let's see, so what we do is we just move it to our actual user directory. Oh, actually, I put it in no, I'm supposed to go in user, not users. That was a mistake. Yeah, so if you go into, so this is just your home directory. Oh, that's what you call it on Unix anyway. And so then if you just rename it, because it doesn't matter what this name is. So I'm just going to call it FB. So that's FFmpeg build. Alright, so now if you go in there, and then we just run it. Right, so we're running a 64-bit system, so we're just going to choose 3 for 64-bit. And now, so... Alright, so now this is important. It's saying to you what license do you want to use. So now what you have to make sure is that if you choose any of the ones from 2 and below, you'll have stuff which is missing, which can help when it comes to trying to sort of render files or encode files for like YouTube, etc., and other streaming sites. So basically, the only one you can choose is actually 1, because you just want everything and you don't want anything missing, so that you can encode pretty much any file you want. Yeah, so you don't really need these, because you say only FFmpeg that you want. The others actually don't really, the other binaries don't really have any use. And build VPX. Yeah, you don't need that, because FFmpeg is going to be doing all the work. So you always choose no for that. No. Actually, I didn't. Well, we just have to go through this. So, I'm sure I've selected no. I don't know why it's asking me all this. Because we don't need any of these. I think I answered it wrong before. Because I'm not sure why. Maybe I must have pushed the wrong number. Alright, let me... Yes, I did that wrong. So let me just try again. I need to read properly what it says. What it's done is it's stored something. Yeah, so you have to delete this file. So if you choose any wrong settings and you suddenly find that you're stuck like I did, then you just delete that file. The way I knew it was the right file to delete is because you just look at the timestamp. So any file which is newer than what you've unzipped is obviously what you can delete. So we can do 3 for 64-bit. So we want 1 because we want everything to be included that we can. Now this is build standalone binaries for libraries including FFmpeg. 1 is yes, no. Right, so I would just choose 1 here. Alright, let me try this again because I don't get what's happening here. This is a new thing. Let's get rid of this again. I might as well do this because other people are going to get confused by this as well, because this is different from before when I was trying to. So 64-bit license is 1. So now build standalone binaries. We want 2. So 2 should skip everything, but yeah, it doesn't. So build. Alright, binaries you can build depends on standalone. Alright, so, okay, so this is asking us the encoders, what we want built in. So right, yeah, so this is asking, so essentially so we want VPX. Yeah, might as well get that. I don't know what that is. Yeah, might as well. So most of these JPEG, but we don't really care about that. I think the reason they're saying this is so that it can make FFmpeg smaller. So we definitely want x264. Yeah, so choose one for that. Yeah, we want x265. Yeah, just take that. And x3, well, I don't think we need that. Don't need that. Yeah, don't bother with that. Well, let's have that anyway. Yeah, if you want FLAC, and you definitely want this. You don't need FARC. Excel. I don't know what that is. Just do no for that. Don't need multimedia farm. You might take that. Socks is okay. If you might use it. Alright, so now it's asking how you want FFmpeg to be built. And since this is Windows, your best bet is just static. Because that saves you any headache. I mean, the file will be bigger than normal, but this one is, like they say, that recommended option is the best one. Right, always build when libraries have been updated. So yeah, so you want that. This is for later in case you want to update it. So you don't need to select this if you absolutely need updated external libraries. What about it? Well, I'd say I'd go 1 anyway, because you want FFmpeg to always bring in the latest libraries, because some of the old libraries might have bugs in them. Right, so now it says if you create files if you use. Right, so optional libraries. So what I would do is I'd choose. Basically, you can choose yes if you want, but it's a bit tedious because you have to now select all the a whole lot of other things. But because the important thing is, as long as you've chosen the AAC, the FDK AAC and x264, then if all you're going to be doing is uploading for streaming sites, then basically you're ready. So the best option is to choose number 2. And so that will build all the libraries you've chosen previously. And like they say, the other stuff which you're not going to use will just not be in there. So we go for 2. And yeah, MP4 box can come in handy sometimes when you're trying to encode streams which come from the Raspberry Pi camera. So if you've got a Raspberry Pi camera, then yeah, you might as well choose 1 here. Yeah, just choose 1 there. InPlay, yeah, well, InPlay, I'd say not bother. So let's just do 2. The reason they're complaining is because InPlay is not updated that regularly. And as you can see, the guy is obviously he's swearing there as well, which is not good, but you know, some of these developers are like that. Right, so MPV. Yeah, MPV is alright, because that's new and it's updated very regularly, so you can choose it. And VLC, yeah, you don't need VLC. Your best bet for VLC is just to download it. Yes, so just don't bother building it. And BMX tools, I don't even know what that is. So if you need it, then get it, but I'm not going to bother. And static curl, yes, you better choose 1. Because what curl, this is for when you want to, Yeah, anyway, just choose one, because curl comes in handy sometimes. FF media broadcast, yeah, well, I'll just say no to that one, so that's 2. This takes a long time, isn't it? Cyan rips, yeah, I wouldn't bother with that. Redshift, I don't know what that is. Faster grip, no, we don't care about that. No. I don't know why they make it so you have to type so much stuff, man. You don't need the use Clang instead of, well, yeah, so best stick with GCC. So make sure to choose 2 here, which is to use GCC. Windows Defender everyone, most of your processing power goes. It is recommended to. Alright, yeah, and actually I found that this is another thing you have to watch out for. It does seem to slow it down a bit, so what you're probably worth doing is just going to services. And, oh, actually, this is something interesting. Oh no, sorry, yeah, here's another important thing. If you're on Windows Home, it will not let you disable the Windows Defender. You can only do it on the Pro versions. So if you're on Home, the only option you have is you have to install another free antivirus program, and then you have to disable that program, basically. So you see we've got here, see the Windows Defender. So what you do is anything which is Windows Defender, just disable it, because it really does slow down. Right, so what, yeah, so you go to the Windows Defender, and so what you want to do is go to the virus and threat detection, and let's get rid of that. So what you want is go in there, and so go to settings, and basically turn off real-time protection. And of course now it will complain all over the place saying, how dare you do that? But you don't care, because the important thing is that that you want this compile to be quick. Because the reason I know this is the case is because if you go into Task Manager when you run the compile, you will actually see that the Windows Defender will actually you can see it using CPU, so it is actually trying to scan the files, and there's a lot of files involved in this. And I'm just checking. Alright, so I've got 4. So number of CPU. Yes, let's go for 2. I mean, I could use more, but but I think the reason they say don't use more is because Windows struggles when you use too much. Versions. Yeah, so best just choose one there. Yeah, you might as well strip it, because you're not going to be developing. All you want to do is encode some files, so you don't care about it not being stripped. Yeah, so it's, what it is, packed files sometimes take longer to, they take longer to start up, so it's best just not to bother with that. And let's just choose one. Here's a sweet files. Yeah, I'll choose. Screen updates. Yeah, might as well, I suppose. Sure that this will show. Yes, I'd say no. Because I think it probably slows it down. Experiment, yeah, well, since it's experimental, then it's not worth bothering with. So it's no. Can't open run this script. Alright, so we're not running through SSH because we're on Windows anyway, so most Windows people don't care about SSH anyway. Right, so that's it. So once we get to this part, now basically now it's it's starting the build. So what you usually want to do is to just have a check of it and just make sure it's actually started. And it's probably worth waiting to see if it gets to the build part, because occasionally you might have some problems with the download. But essentially, once all of the compiling stuff is downloaded and it starts to download right, so here we go. Okay, so it's doing some updates. Because what I'm saying this is because you have to leave it eventually because it takes forever. Alright. Means maybe the downloading. Do you want to try it again? Yeah, I think I might have had this problem before. Yeah, let me see. Let's try again. I think I know what's up. Right, I think, yeah. When I tried it before, I think I did have this problem, but I just couldn't quite remember. And the problem is Control-C doesn't work, so the only option you have is to... So what you have to look out for, so this is Ming W64. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this, and you have to go back to the browser, and so what we're looking for is Ming W64. Because for whatever reason it has a problem. So if you go to download, and so what we want is Windows. Right, so I know I'm not talking much, but that's because I just can't quite remember if this is what I did, but basically you have to be unknown, because they're not going to pay all the money that Microsoft wants to sign the binaries. Alright, so this is so we want 64-bit and POSIX, and yeah, we'll just keep that build division. Yeah, so if we just do next, because for whatever reason, this is one problem I find with the scripts, and I think it happened last time, and that's that it does everything like fine and perfect, but the one thing it doesn't do properly for some reason is the Ming W64. Yeah, let's get rid of this. SourceForge is a bit annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if this works. Because there's another, I think this was actually a different installer that I used last time. But if this one works, then I'll just go with it. But really, this is the most annoying part. It's getting the right Ming W64. So the script is nice, does all the work for you, but the one thing it just doesn't do is the compiler, and that always seems to be a problem on Windows. Right, now the problem we have here is that it's just that we need to find the, we need to add it to the path, and it's kind of, yeah, so this is what you have to do is, because you have to run it in the terminal, and so when it's in the terminal, if you do, right, so GCC gives you the version, that's important. So now we're in C, so now if I do C, see, this is the part, this is where you get caught out if you try and use this script. I think it was FB, right, so, and so now we just want the media auto. Alright, so if we just run it, let's see what happens. Right, so now like magic, it seems it's continued, which is interesting. I think this is what happened last time, because the all important thing is the GCC must work. So you have to, if you can't type GCC space -v and it gives you an output, then basically the script is not going to work. So this is the thing. So if you want to build FFmpeg for yourself so that you can have all of the codecs, well, almost all the codecs anyway, but the main ones, which is X264 and X265 for the H.264 and H.265 support, and you want the FDK AAC or any of the other AAC encoders, then this is the way to do it, because you see, legally, people aren't allowed to distribute builds of FFmpeg, which are unredistributable, if you can work that out. So yeah, you'll find downloads for FFmpeg, but they always have stuff missing, which doesn't help. So if you want to have an FFmpeg which has got all the big stuff in it, then you're going to have to build it yourself. And as you've seen, the hard part is getting the GCC to work. So the only important thing is you have to make sure you can see that GCC-V, and once that shows up, then you can run the batch scripts, and then you should carry on. But you can do that from the beginning. But admittedly, the last time when I did this, I downloaded the MingW after it crashed out as well. So this is actually how I did it previously. So I don't know if there's a way of doing it where, or if you make sure GCC is working, and then you run the script the first time, if it will work first time, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm not sure, but since all I really care about is getting that FFmpeg build, and I know that doing it this way works. See, look what's happening. See, now it's, see, I don't know what's going on here. See, now it's installing it. So maybe what I did was a waste of time. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I've got no idea. But all I know is well, I don't know. Maybe if I'd have maybe all you have to actually do is just run the script again. But I do know that the script, first time you run it always crashes at that MingW part. For some reason, it just, and when you try to retry it, it doesn't work. And that happened to me the last time as well. So maybe you do just have to run the script twice because there's some bug in it. Because you see, now it's actually downloading the MingW for itself. So, you know, I don't know. Right, so now you can see where it's saying it's running Autogen, and so what's happening here is it's configuring the free type 2. So the best thing is so let it run the Autogen, then configure, and then once the configure is finished, because with free type the configure shouldn't take too long, and then it's going to build it. And admittedly, if you've got a machine with a lot of cores, then it's best to throw as many cores as you have at this process, because then that will speed it up. But although the other thing is, if you're intending to leave it overnight, then the main thing is, once it gets to this part, then if you just wait for it to do the configure and then the build, and the fact that the configure hasn't crashed is actually good, because that means the compiler is working so far. But the only thing is, you don't know how well it's working until it's actually built and installed the application. So the configure was successful, which is good. So that means the compiler and linker works. But we don't know if the install works yet. That's the only thing. So once you've seen that all three parts for any of the applications that are being built work, then that's when I'd say it's safe to leave it. Because this well, on my machine, because I haven't given it that many cores, it is going to take I think it takes a few hours to build. Alright, so the make was successful, so that's good. And the install, right, okay, so that's it. So it managed to install it and strip it, so all parts of the tool chain are working, and you verified this. So now's the time where you can basically just leave it and either go to bed or go out or just go and do something else, because this is going to take a long time. And I'll record all of it, and I suppose maybe I'll speed it up. I'll see if I can, I'll see how fast I can speed it up. This build process, just so you can see all the stages that actually happen. so that's built, and so now we just have to see if FFmpeg is there. So what we do is, if we just checking that the capture's still running. Obviously, if you heard what I said, then it is still running, but I have to make sure. So if we go to, alright, see, so now it's made a few extra directories. And you can see how big this local 64 is. Anyway, so we have build here. And inside there, let's see. Yeah, the only thing is, I don't know where it's. I don't know if it's put the bin files. See, this is the only thing. It doesn't even tell you where the files are. But I mean, I know where they probably are. But I just wanted to see if they put them somewhere separate. All right, yeah, here it is. So it's local 64 bin. And oh no. Oh, this is the build stuff. Okay. Bin audio. Alright, I think it's bin video. And there it is. So there's the FFmpeg, and you can see it's 62 megabytes. And I presume, because it's a static build, this should be all you need. So in order to make it easy to run, probably the easiest thing to do is to get the bin video and just copy it. Then we just paste it in C, because this is just to make it easier to type. Let me just rename that. Just do FF. Right, so alright, I'm just going to quickly do something. See, and then I'll just be right back. Right, so now what I'm just going to do is let's get this out of the way. And so you saw, yeah, so all I did was just update this. Let's see if it's, no, it hasn't updated yet. Right, so actually the first thing I'm just going to do is make another command prompt, or sorry, go to it. So I'm just going to go to the desktop, and then just going to check that the FFmpeg works. So if you just press return, that's it. So as long as you get the as long as you get this printout, then you know that it's working, and you can even find out what you managed to compile into it. So we've got let's see what we got. Got that directory, blah, blah, blah. So we got yes, you got MP3, so that's important. Got Opus, you need that for the WebM files from YouTube. And then we got VPX, that's from YouTube. Libx264, encode to YouTube. And then the last one is, right, FDK-AAC. So as long as you got these ones, then we can essentially encode files which will work on YouTube and Instagram. And the reason I know that is because I've used these settings on YouTube and Instagram, and the video's gone up fine without any of those funny like problems or errors that sometimes can pop up. And so now, what I'm just going to do. Alright, so I'm just checking that. Alright, so it is updated. Alright. So now, so it's original. So I'm just got to do a quick change. Just got to make a directory. Because what it is, so I've got this file. This is like an original file that I've encoded from Sinalera at like zero lossless quality, I should say. And it's an 8-minute file, which is 147 megabytes. So now, normally a file which is 8 minutes shouldn't be 147 megabytes if it's compressed. So what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to put that in the originals, and then if I now, so in the command prompt, so what I'm just going to do is use my command. So copying that. So paste that. And so what it's going to do is it's going to run, so the originals file, it's going to use that, and then it's going to output it to this file on the desktop. So what I'm going to do is just run this, and then, so there it is encoding. And so what we're going to do is you're going to see how small the, that file is. And this isn't too bad. I mean, I'm running this on an emulator. I'm still getting encoding at 56 frames a second, which is okay, actually. I mean, I should have probably given it more, oh no, it's actually I think it's using all four threads. So it should be. And FFmpeg likes to hammer them as well. Well, it's not quite 100%. So I suppose Windows is. Yeah, so I suppose Windows is holding it back a little bit. Yeah, and as you can see, it's not using much memory, but FFmpeg is all about the CPU. Right, so there it is, busy producing our video ready to be uploaded. And so what I'll do is I'll just cut this and come back when it's finished, even though it won't really take that long. Okay, so that's finished encoding, and as you see, it's done it's put this sort of move atom to the beginning, and that's so that it can stream properly. Right, so now it's finished that, so let's see what's going on. Right, so that's the file, so it's not giving me the size. Right, see, so now that is 32 megabytes, so that's down from 147 megabytes. So let's see what that looks like. Showing you how to upgrade a version of Windows if you're running an older Windows 10. Basically, so this version I have here, finished now, and as you see, once we restart now, it's going to actually be doing the full update. So I'm just basically handy for this device. So that probably has something to do with the. Okay, so finally that has updated, and Alright, so that's that. So, yeah, it was clicking and popping there because, I'm using the emulated sound, and it's like an old version of QEMU. And so it's still got some bugs in like the sound emulation, but it still sounds okay, even with the bugs. So, and I mean, there are ways of cleaning that up, but I just, don't really need the sound in it that much. But anyway, so you can see there that this file that is rendered, it's worked. And so what that means is that, we've successfully built, FFmpeg, to be able to encode, videos for sort of video sites and using non-free codecs. And including especially non-free codecs like the FDK AAC, which you won't find in any build that you can, or you should be able to download, because when I built it, it said it's unredistributable, so no one should actually be able to allow you to download a build like what I've just produced. And so this is the reason why you need to do these FFmpeg builds if you want to actually have an FFmpeg. And the other advantage with it, of course, is if you got a new processor, you can it will actually build with the newer instructions. Newer instructions. So I've got my processor is a bit old. It's from 2012, so it's only got AVX. But if you've got one of the newer ones, it'll have like AVX2 and FMA and stuff like that, and they will actually be built into the libx264 as well, and that of course will mean that your encodes are a lot faster as well. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.